Eckhart Tolle, a spiritual teacher and author, once said, "The decision to make the present moment your friend is the end of the ego." Wow, what a beautiful way to start today's presentation. And before we get started, I want to welcome you all to Wellbeing Psychology. I'm so happy to have another video here to talk about. My name is Shantanique, and this is a channel that educates on psychology, purposeful life, self-development, personal growth, brain functions, life balance, and so much more. Once again, I'm so excited to have you guys here learning some psychology with me. We're going to hop right in. On today's video, we're going to be talking about the famous ego. I think that everyone has heard about the ego, whether you're in psychology or not, talked about it, whether you're in psychology or not. It's definitely very famous. So what is the ego? Sigmund Freud basically created hypothetical components of what the ego is, right? It's a part of the personality, and it's considered the self or the conscious sense of self. Now, it does comprise of the individual's attitudes, values, and concerns, and is the component of the mind that can adapt to the demands of the external environment. So it's the part of the mind that actually has the ability to adapt to what's happening in your external world. It does enable the individual to perceive, reason, solve problems, test reality, and adjust impulses. So it's a very, very powerful part of the human. And it represents reason and thoughtful deliberation. Okay, so that's just a little bit of the basics about what an ego is. Now, what type of issues do we have with ego? So, as you know, once again, it's very popular and most popular for being egotistic or, having some type of big ego. So, a lot of people face ego issues by always comparing themselves to others, right? So they're constantly in this comparison mode where they're looking at their personality and they're comparing it to another person's personality, right? When we're all different, so we really shouldn't do that anyway. Seeking attention all the time, right? Or redirecting it back to yourself from others. This is a very ego-centered act where you're just always craving that attention because you're living from the personality. You're living from this image that you've created of yourself, from all of your character traits, from everything about you, and you seek attention constantly. Now, you can also be against others, against others succeeding, or just always competing to be the best. Now, always competing to be the best, I will admit, that can be stressful. Who wants to do that? Who wants to always have to compete? That is an energy. That is like effort. So you're taking from yourself when you're always competing to be the best. You could be competing in something you're not even good at, right? You could be competing in the art world, but you're a musician. What are you competing in the art world for just to be the best when you're not even in that field, right? So the ego will, make you feel like you have to succeed against others, take from others or take the spotlight just because of the self-centered ways that you've developed. The need for recognition and respect, right? You need to be recognized. Give me my respect. Recognize or give me the recognition that I deserve because I deserve it. Just a really selfish way to be, and never consider others. It's always about you, right? Give me the personality, everything that I said, give me. Attempts to control and manipulate others, right? So when you're in the ego mindset, you're, attempting to have this type of control, right? Or manipulation of others because you feel like your needs are above theirs. You feel like your personality and who you are and what you contribute is most important. So often you don't consider others and sometimes try to take advantage of them. Constantly focused on the physical aspect of life. So not only are you always about the self, are you always self-centered, always about gaining recognition, world thoughts, But you're always focused on the physical aspect of life, so you don't really look at the fact that there is more to life than building this ideal image, than building this ideal reputation. There's more to life than those moments, right? Now, how can we understand the ego better, right? How can we have a better understanding so that we can become better in our ego ways? Well, first of all, understand that often the ego is not the problem. It is the way that we utilize, excuse me, it is the way that we utilize the resources that creates the problem, right? So the body has its way, the mind has its way, and our environment has its way. So how you utilize all those things in unison with one another is how you create the problem. Okay? The goal of the ego is to simply attempt to guide the impulses that we face daily as humans, right? So it's not to be this self-centered, selfish person. It's just really to attempt to guide the impulses that our body is facing as we live in the external world and we see all these things on the outside of us all day, every day. We are so tempted to react, right? And the ego has to guide that into some type of direction. Unfortunately, as we do attempt to redirect those impulses, we end up directing them in the wrong place, causing the ego to appear in a form of negativity versus positivity, which is why it has a bad reputation. So, as you get those impulses, you have a choice. That is the main thing we can stick with, is that we have a choice of good or bad, right? And if you take the choice to bad versus good, then that's you. You're utilizing the ego in a way that is not best for you or for others. We can fix this issue by understanding that we aren't always the best, right? We're not going to be the top in every category, right? Now, if you know that you are just good at this one thing and if this is yours, stick to that. Don't have this ego mindset that you have to be the best and you have to compete with the best and the best, right? Don't be so hard on yourself. Just be you, because there is no one like you. There's no other you. Stand strong in that, right? And how good does it feel to know that there is not another you that you have to compete with? So there is no need to build this image or this character so that you can be a part of the world when who you already are is the world. Learn to let go sometimes, right? Don't always feel like you have to have this image for the world to see. Let go of the image. Be who you are authentically, genuinely, okay? And understand that there may be more to life than you think. So don't always have this self-centered, fixed mindset. Sometimes be a little bit open-minded to understand that there's more to life than building this image. There's more to life than, looking a certain way to the world. There's more to life than looking a certain way in the mirror, okay? Show gratitude, be more grateful. If you are someone with such beautiful talent, right, or you just really have your skill sets and abilities down pat, be grateful for that versus, kind of egotistic. Be grateful that you have the ability, right? And compliment others, help them compliment others so that they can one day gain the ability to tap into their greatness, because we all have it. It's not just one person that has greatness. We all do. We just don't know how to tap into it. And of course, there is many more ways that we can understand the ego, so that we can become the greatest versions of ourselves. This is basically the basics, but just understand that you don't have to be the image that the world wants you to be, and you don't have to be the image that you think the world wants you to be, right? The ego can make you put on a mask of something that's not even who you are because of these impulses that we receive from the outside world. Example, you see someone doing something in the career that you feel you should be in, and maybe they're very successful, and your ego says, I have to do this. Look at them, right? It says, look at them, and not look at you. Look at you, okay? Look at you and who you are and walk in that greatness. There is no one like you. And if you get anything from this video, I want you to get the fact that you don't have to wear a mask, because who you already are is beautiful enough. with that being said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's video. I hope you did get something from today's video. If you did, please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Excuse me, subscribe. I don't know why I can't talk today, but I'm going to keep it real with you guys. I'm not going to edit this out. Other than that, I want to say enjoy the rest of your day and goodbye.